This key that we're going to talk about today is the one that took me the longest to embrace as a reader. But when I look back at all my years of reading, whenever I noticed a big leap in my abilities, it was almost always due to this. Hi, my name is Emily Rose. I'm a professional Lenormand and tarot reader. I also teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand like they're talking to a friend. And today I am here with our fourth key, which is part of our Think Like a Lenormand Pro series, where I'm talking the 5 keys to clear, confident Lenormand readings. We all want those fluent, smooth interpretations. And after reading Lenormand since I was about 12 years old, these are the 5 things that are really important to work on or master if we can to deliver those amazing readings. If this is the first video you're seeing of the Think Like a Lenormand Pro series, you're welcome to just start here. But we have 3 previous keys that we talked about, especially key number 3. Don't miss that one. And I will link all of those down below in the description. I have a playlist that you can just watch all of them in one convenient spot. Before we get going though, I want to invite you to something. I have a workshop announcement for you. You can now register for my workshop, The Tarot Reader's How-To Guide to Lenormand. And this is happening on Saturday, March 11th and on Sunday, March 12th. And you can pick whichever day you want to attend. This is a live workshop. Inside, we're going to be getting our hands dirty, looking at some spreads, card combinations, and also looking at the perks and pitfalls of reading Lenormand as a tarot reader. So if you are interested in Lenormand at all, even if you're not a tarot reader, make sure to come to this workshop because we're going to have so much fun interpreting together. And I'm also going to be spilling all of the details of my new membership site that is coming your way soon. So make sure to register. The link is in the description down below. And even if you can't make it live, if you're registered, I will send you the recording, but you need to be registered to get it. So I can't wait to see you all on March 11th or 12th. Without further ado, let's dig into our 4th key as part of the Think Like a Lenormand Pro series. And that 4th key is to find a community and regularly connect with them. Now, I get it. I am the type of person, I'm toxically independent a lot of times. And for some of us, we're not out of the witchy cartomancy closet of any kind, right? So getting with community can be a little tricky, a little intimidating. I was definitely intimidated for a long time to bring this out into the world. But as you can see here with me doing this video, once you start to work with community, once you really start to embrace that aspect, then things start to shift and change for you. And here's the thing though, to pay attention to this. Community doesn't have to mean one specific thing. It can look really different from person to person. I mean by community is finding some type of space that you feel safe to practice in, and you can get some feedback on your readings and you can provide feedback to other people on their readings. Now, in terms of what that can look like, the possibilities are really endless, but I'm going to give you some ideas and a little challenge as well to kind of get your feet wet with this. Now, I know community, when I hear that word, I get the heebie-jeebies because I think about those big groups that you see on like Facebook or Discord, and that is just not my jam, but it is a lot of people's jam, right? A lot of people absolutely love those big groups and they get a lot out of them. So if that's you, there's lots of those on the internet that you can find. Personally, for me, I found those groups confusing when I first found them, which was like years and years ago. because everyone is kind of coming with different takes and different opinions, and that can be really enriching if your Lenormand foundation is set. But if you're still in the process of setting it, then that can be really confusing. Another thing too is that if you're someone who's an empath or someone who is sensitive, which I consider myself to be, then those groups can be really harsh at times. And sometimes it's in a productive way. People give, really great feedback, but a lot of times that's not the case that I've seen in a lot of those groups. And if you're like me, then that's just not going to serve you well. So I tended to gravitate towards building my own community of trusted people, and also finding a mentor who would give me real talk and give me real feedback on my interpretations, but I knew she had my best and highest good in mind, and that was through the fabulous Rana George. So when it comes to, building a community, for me, it looked like having a mentor and then also creating friends within the cartomancy community and finding people who are further along in their journey than me, who were willing to give me feedback on my readings. And community also looked like reading for my friends and then getting feedback from them about what that experience was like. So as you can see, it can look a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to look like, sharing a personal spread from your life to a big group. It can be just picking a few select people or finding a safe corner of the internet and sharing there. And I think this is what really enriches us and challenges us and pushes us to be better cartomancers. As I mentioned, one important piece of community is starting to read for other people, even if they aren't, cartomancers themselves, they're not into Lenormand. That doesn't matter. The important thing is getting out there, reading for someone else, and telling them, hey, this is just for practice. And there's a few reasons why this is so important to your learning. One of the reasons is that when you're reading for someone else, you're practicing formulating questions, right? You're having that conversation with them to formulate a clear question. Go back and watch key 3 for that. And then the other piece of it is that you have to give them an answer, right? You have to give them an answer in the moment. And what I noticed is when I started reading for other people, there was less time for that overthinking and more time for me to just say an interpretation and practice that way. And then I would ask them for real life feedback when I was learning. And I would tell them, hey, this is just for practice. I am just learning. And that kind of removes that burden from your shoulders that, oh, I'm giving them a prediction. This is all powerful and so scary. But really, if you're telling them, hey, I'm practicing, can you help me practice? That's a totally different thing than, having them pay you for a reading. So this is really important because once you've had some of those successes under your belt, you've seen, okay, I had this prediction that came true, and you have that 5, 10, 20 times, that's going to start to build your confidence. Or on the contrary, maybe they come back and say, hey, that didn't happen the way you said, but this happened instead. You could go back to look at the spread. And I always recommend kind of like keeping a journal or taking photos so you can remember what you said. But you can kind of go back and say, oh, that's what the mountain meant here. Or, oh, that's what the writer meant here. And you can start learning that way. And I feel like this is really where the learning takes place in a deeper way. And also it happens a lot faster is what I've noticed. If you're kind of on your own, what I notice at least with me is I tend to spin my wheels. But if I am starting to engage with other people, I'm putting it out there, I can kind of either get validated or get feedback or critiques that really help me out. And so this is where I found that I went from being a good reader to like a really good reader is with this leap. And this is what I recommend for people and why I wanted to create a Lenormand membership as well. I really want to create a safe place for people to share their spreads, to share their experiences with Lenormand, to share their successes. So that's a big reason for this membership. And I also wanted to create a space for people and be that mentor person that, I was so fortunate to have, to help you with your interpretations and to just be a support for you in that process. And that's also why I created this series too. As you all know by now, I like to learn and then I like to do immediately following it. So here's the doing part. This is your challenge. Go ahead and ask a question, pull cards, and post your interpretation here in the comment section of this video. If you want to learn how to ask a clear question, go ahead and go back to key number 3, where we talk all about how to ask a clear question to get a clear answer. But if you post your question, post your spread and your interpretation, and you want feedback, please say that you want feedback. Really, the point of this is you just posting it and getting it out there, but I am monitoring the comment section. I am happy to comment and give feedback if you post it in this video here in the comment section while the Lenormand Pro series is running. And since this is my little corner of the internet, I monitor the comments, and if someone posts something that is unhelpful, that is toxic, that is really negative, then I delete it. That's how I roll. This is my corner of the internet, dang it. So if I see that, I will delete it. So I try to keep this space as positive as possible for people and as constructive as possible. So even though I can't say this is a totally safe space, I try to make it as safe as possible. Of this as the next step in your Lenormand learning and posting that. For some of you, you may be totally comfortable posting and that's great. But for a lot of us, it's a scary thing. So I just want to give you kudos in advance for posting your spreads, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. And if you ask for feedback, I am happy to provide that to you. Just please stick with 3 5-card spreads for this, because getting more than that might get a little crazy. So 3 or 5 card spreads, please. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. So I look forward to seeing a lot of you live at the workshop on March 11th and 12th. It's the Tarot Reader's How-To Guide to Lenormand. I can't wait to dig into some spreads and talk about the perks and pitfalls of reading Lenormand as a tarot reader. Remember, you need to be registered in order to watch it live or receive the replay. So you can head to the description down below or emilyrosedivination.com/workshop in order to watch that. Thank you all for watching. We have one more key left that is part of the Think Like a Lenormand Pro series. I can't wait to get to it, and also to tell you more about the membership site I have starting up so soon. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy divining.